Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers at a drawing on April 25th, 2018. If you want to play my game Decoding the Powerball to help assist you in picking your own numbers, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 40, 50, 54, 62, and 69. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with orange, then green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 13 red numbers, 14 orange, 17 green, 17 blue, and 8 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so over here to the right is 221. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far, and these are the color code drawings, okay? And out of this 221 drawings, 116 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 79 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 21 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 6 times out of 221 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been 1 color. Okay, so this number right here, this number 5, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. And you can see that all 5 colors did come up. It was blue, purple, orange, red, and green here, along with the drawing before that. Okay, so how I use this is I try to correctly guess what the next number here will be. Okay, so more than half the time, it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, so the overall strategy here is to reduce the numbers. Okay, so how I do that is the strategy on this is to guess what color won't be coming up, because again, hardly ever do all 5 colors come up together. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no purple numbers will be coming up, okay? And the reason why is because purple had a little run right down here, okay? And for some reason, as I go through the history of the drawings, usually purple will come up like once, twice, 3 times, and then not come up, okay? So it just came up twice here after a long run from here down to here, okay? So again, I just don't think that purple will be coming up, so I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no purple numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm 1 step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, And over here to the right are the numbers that just came up in the lottery. Again, it was 40, 50, 54, 62, and 69. And that turns out to be a 3-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card and see what I'm talking about. And what you're going to see here is that there's 7 groups here total. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Okay, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for me, as I look at this, the 20 numbers have come up in the last 7 drawings, except for the last drawing. Okay, so I just think that it's going to miss a couple of drawings because I hit 7 in a row. I think it's going to miss like 2 or 3 in a row. Okay, so my guess is that no 20 numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to eliminate these 20 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so another way of how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why I break it down into 5 is because when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count as far as 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my other theory is that if there was a lot of hits within these 5 drawings here for this certain group of numbers, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay, or vice versa. Okay, so again, my pick is that no 20 numbers will be coming up, so I'm going to eliminate the 20 numbers off of the game card. So I'm just going to blow this back up here. I'm going to go to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far, with no purple numbers from the color code and now no 20 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so again, if none of these numbers come up, then I'm another step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so what I did is I divided all the numbers into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the Powerball numbers come up and land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so this is for the red area, the blue, the orange, and the green. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage, and again, the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 40, 50, 54, 62, and 69. Okay, so the 40 is over here in the green, okay? The 50 is over here in the orange. The 54 is here in the green, and the 62 is in the green, and the 69 is in the green, okay? So there was no winning Powerball numbers in the red area. There is no winning Powerballs in the blue area. There's 1 in the orange, and that was that 50, and there was 4 of them in the green area. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers were going to come up in the drawing, then I could have eliminated all these numbers and really gave myself a much better chance at picking the correct 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so how I use this is that I created 15 of these option cards, okay, and they all use the same colors to it, all red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so you can see that the red numbers represent these numbers right here. And in option card number 1, you can see that the red numbers represent these numbers over here. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards, and you can see how they change. Okay, So again, the strategy is to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so for my guess here, I'm going to guess that option card number 3 will have no blue numbers to it. Okay, so if you're going to play my game, we're all going to look at this a little bit different. Okay, but how I look at this is that you can see that this is a single zero right here. And every once in a while, these zeros will double up or triple up or even quadruple up. Okay. So as I go down through the blue column here, you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I just think that it's due to double up. Okay. And I think there's going to be a 0 here. Okay. Which means that none of these blue numbers, I believe, are going to come up. Okay, so if I don't think they're going to come up, then I want to get rid of them. And how I get rid of them is by going to the game card and eliminating these numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. So you can see that all these blue numbers are gone off of group 1 here. Okay, option card number 3. And I'm going to go to my next pick here. Okay, so my next pick is option card number 5, no green numbers. And the reason why I'm picking this one is because this one has hit 24 drawings in a row. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so again, that means that the last 24 drawings, one of these green numbers have come up in the lottery. Okay, so I just don't think they're going to come up for this drawing, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to go to the game card and get rid of all those green numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my last pick here is option card number 9, no green numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 9. And the reason why I'm picking this one is because a single 1, like right over here, comes up a lot. Okay, so as I scroll down through, you can see there's another one, there's a 1 over here, there's a 1 over here. Okay, in this green column, there hasn't been a 1 in a long time. Okay, so here it is way down here. So I just think that it's due to come up. Okay, I think that it's due to happen. So again, I think that this is going to be 1 right here, which means that this has to be a 0. And if that's a 0, then that means that none of these green numbers will be coming up, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to go to the game card, and I'm going to get rid of those green numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. So again, if I made all the correct picks here and none of these numbers come up, then I'm 1 step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is that the stats for these are right down here. Okay, red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards as well for group 2, and I used all the same colors as well. Red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each different option card. Okay, so how I use this as well, I'm going to go over how I use the stats. Okay, so I'm just going to blow this up a little bit more. and I'm going to point out this red area right here. Okay, so I keep the stats for the red area right here. So the 0 means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in that red area. And of course, this 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. Okay, so I like to keep track of every 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why I do that is because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros or 3 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. And if there's 3 or more hits, I color it red. I call it a background red for hot. Okay, so because the lottery is so random, nothing can stay hot forever. Nothing can stay cold forever. Okay, so as I go down through the history of things, if something gets really hot, like right here, well, eventually it's going to turn cold. Okay, because again, nothing can stay cold or nothing can stay hot forever in something that's so random. Okay, so as I go down through, what I have to do is correctly guess when this thing is going to turn cold. Okay, and when I think there's going to be a 0 here. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to go back up. In the last drawing, there was 1 hit in the blue area. There's 1 hit in the purple, 2 in the brown, and 1 in the yellow. Okay, so as I head back up through, the blue was the 50. Okay, the purple was the 69. The brown was the 54 and 62, and the yellow was the 40 number. Okay, so again, as I go back down through, you can see that there was no hits in the red area, no hits in the orange, no hits in the green, and no hits in the gray. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed one of these ones that had a 0 to it, I could have eliminated those numbers and really gave myself a much better chance at picking the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so another way this works is I want to point out this 65 right here. Okay, this shares the square with the 25. So as you look at this, you can see that there's 8 squares total here in this red area, but it actually represents 9 numbers. Okay, so how I look at this is that if I don't think that any of these numbers are going to come up in this red area, then I'm going to eliminate all 9 numbers, including the 25 and the 65. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, you can see that I have these numbers out here to the wing here. Okay, this 8, 19, 25, 53, and 58. This 8 shares the square with the 66 over here. Okay, now the reason why I don't have the 8 crammed in over here with the 66 is because of the color code. Okay, so as I head back over, you can see that this 8 is orange and the 66 is green. Okay, so that's why I need some separation. But if I decide to get rid of this row right here, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 at the same time. Okay, so as I head back over, my first pick here in group 2, again, the overall strategy is to get rid of the numbers, okay, reduce the numbers. And my first pick is going to be option card number 1, no brown numbers. So here's the stats for the brown, and as I head down through, things have been like 50-50, and I just think that there's going to be a 0 right here, okay? 50-50 as far as hot and cold here, okay? But again, I just think that this is going to be a 0, which means that I don't believe that any of these brown numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. So as I scroll over to the right, you can see that there's no brown numbers right here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 3. Here's the red. And as I head down through the history of things, you can see that things got a little bit hot here, okay? And then really, really hot. And now I just think it's going to start to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the red numbers. And you can see it's the 4 to the 28 and the 37 to the 61. Okay, so the only one left is the 12 and the 37. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down now, and you can see that those numbers are gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 4, no yellow numbers. Oops, okay. Okay, so here's the yellow, and as I head down through the stats, you can see that things have been really, really hot here. And now I think they're going to start to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Which again means that I don't believe that any of these yellow numbers will be coming up. So as I head back to the game card, the only one left is the 63 and 64. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll to the left. And you can see that those numbers are gone. So underneath here, you can see group 2, option card number 4, no yellow numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is option card number 11. No orange numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the orange. And as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot here. And now I think they're going to start to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers through the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no orange numbers to it. Okay, so I got a couple more picks here. My next pick is option card number 12, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the gray. And as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot right here. Okay, now I think they're going to start to cool off. And I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So again, I don't believe that any of these gray numbers will be coming up in the drawing. So I want to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I got 2 more picks. And my next one is option card number 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's option card 14, and here's the gray. And as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot here. Okay, and now I think they're going to start to cool off. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 here, which means that I don't believe that any of these gray numbers will be coming up. So again, I want to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I believe that the only one left is this 57. So as I scroll on over, you can see that the 57 will be gone. Okay, so I got 1 more pick, and that's option card number 15. And again, that's all I have is 15 option cards. So I don't believe that the red numbers are going to come up. So as I head down through, you can see that things got really hot right through here. Okay. And now I think they're going to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 here, which means I don't believe that any of these red numbers will be coming up. Okay, so the only one left here is the 3, I do believe. And as I head down through, you can see that that 3 is gone. Okay, so again, if I made all the correct picks of the numbers that I don't believe are going to come up, okay, if they don't come up, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these numbers still left on the board. Okay, so the key word here is if I made all the correct picks. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. And how I came up with this is one time about 2 years ago, I reduced the numbers down to 10, and the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10 numbers. Okay, and when that happened, that's when I said to myself, gee, I really think I'm on to something here, you know? So I only picked 2 correct that day. So this is where I came up with the 50-50 picks because, again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I keep track of that stuff because I want to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is this 266. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 266 drawings, 135 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 131 have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so with the last drawing, you can see that the majority was 4 even numbers. So I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage, and you can see that it was 40, 50, 54, and 62. Those are the 4 even numbers, and then the 69 was odd, of course. Okay, so as I head down through the history of things, again, I like to break things down into 5 because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so with this last 5 drawings, you can see that the majority was odd numbers as far as the drawings are concerned. Okay, so sometimes I like to go back in the history and say, okay, you know, there's been a bunch of odds right here, evens, odds, and now I think that this 5 will probably be evens. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking that this one right here, this upcoming drawing, will probably have more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so I'm going to head over to the right here. So I have this for the same thing with high and low. So all the high numbers are in red, all the low numbers are in blue. And you can see that the 65, 66, 67 are in blue. When those numbers come up, I do record them as low numbers. Okay, so it only matters on how I record in the stats. Okay, so here you can see that the majority has been 136 drawings to 130. And as I move over to the right here, you can see that I have the stats for left and right as well. And this has been really close. You can see that this is the left side has a majority, 134 drawings to 132. And then the last one I have for the 50-50 picks is this blue and red area. Okay, so you can see that the red have the majority of 152 drawings to 114. Okay, so for this next drawing here, I think the majority will be in this blue area here. Okay, so one last thing that I have is this is what I have for the Powerball itself. Again, this is for the red ball. Okay, this 19 that just came up. Okay, there's 26 red ball numbers. Okay, so in this column right here, if you see a red number, then that means it's high, 14 to 26. If you see a low one, if you see a blue number, then that means it's low, 1 to 13. Okay, so over here in this column, if you see a red number, then that means it's odds. If you see a blue number, that means it's evens. Okay, so now I just have to look at the colors. Okay, so looking at the colors just helps me try to predict what color it's going to be. Okay, so this green area here means that the Powerball repeated. Okay, so you can see that the 21 repeated itself. Okay, so when that happens, I put this green thing here to remind me that it did that. Okay, so as I head down through, you can see that where things came up. Okay, where those green things are. All right, where it repeated. Okay, so for me, looking at this, what I think is going to happen is I think that this is going to be blue right here, and I think that this is going to be red. Okay, so I think that this is going to go on a little run here. So I think the Powerball number will be a low odd number. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right here. And with the 50-50 picks, again, I think the majority of the 5 numbers will be even numbers, and I think the majority will be in this blue area here. Okay, so it's off to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, I'm just going to stick with group 2 for right now. Okay, so again, as I head back through these 15 option cards, they all look the same as far as the colors are concerned: red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so what that means is that there's 15 red areas, 15 blue areas, 15 orange areas. Okay, so I like to keep track of that, and I call that my group 2 overview. Okay, so I'm going to go to the group 2 overview right now, which actually I keep in group 1 here for certain reasons. Okay, so this is the group 2 overview right here. So again, as I get down here, okay, this is the red area. Okay, and as you can see, on the left side represents the hits, on the right side represents the misses. Okay, the zeros. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. It's right in the middle of 15. Okay, so if there's 7 or more misses, I colored the background blue for cold. If there's 8 or more misses, I colored the background blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I colored the background red for hot. Okay, so now I just get to look at the colors again, and I try to predict when it's going to be red or blue, when it's going to be hot or cold. Okay, so for me, I think it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of hits in the blue area here. Okay, I think there's going to be a lot of hits in the orange area here. Okay, and I think there's going to be a lot of hits in this purple area here. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll over to the right. Okay, so this represents the blue area right here. Okay, this represents the orange. And this represents the purple. Okay, so I want to point out option card number 1. This represents option card number 1. So as I go back to this group 2 here, option card number 1 for the blue area goes from the 2 down to the 68. So whatever's left on the game card, you can see it's the 10, 34, 42, and 50. So 10, 34, 42, and 50. Okay, so as I go to the orange area, you can see it's the 3 down to the 59. So whatever's left on the game card, you can see it's the 35, 43, and 59. 35, 43, and 59. Okay, and then here in the purple, you can see that there's no numbers there, so I have a 0. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll to the right here. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 1, 10, 34, 44, and 50. Okay, so with this combination of numbers, this will give me 8 hits, 7 misses in that blue area, 8 hits, 7 misses in that orange area, and 10 hits, 5 misses in that purple area. Okay, so again, as I head back to the group 2 overview, again, I think that this is going to be 8, 7, okay, 8, 7, and then this purple I think is going to be 10 hits, 5 misses. Okay, so as I head back here, again in the 50-50 picks, I thought it was going to be more even numbers than odd numbers, so you can see that the 10, 34, 44, and 50 are all even, okay? And I thought it was going to be more in this blue area here, and you can see that the 44, uh, 34, and 50 are all in this blue area here, okay? So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are 1, 10, 34, 44, and 50. Okay, folks, again, if you're interested in using my game to help assist you in picking your own numbers, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. Okay, and if you have any feedback for me, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's just decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I appreciate you watching. If you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. And as always, I like to wish everybody the best of luck with your picks.